Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes, and I am going to do a little golden book for Christmas with you step by step. And this is a request from Bernice and also another commenter watching my little golden book tutorials from last year. Excuse me. She said that she would like to see one book done from start to finish because I tend to do several at one time. And so we're going to do one book start to finish. And then I'm also going to incorporate a tip that another commenter made, getting the little spine away from the little golden book. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start working on Santa's Toy Shop. But before I'd already started them before I got those comments. And so this book is going to substitute for the very beginning until we get to as far as the Santa's Toy Shop is. So I apologize for already starting, but we're going to start from scratch. So what I have is my heat tool, a spatula, a piece of chipboard. It's a medium weight chipboard, and it's the same height as the little golden book, and it measures 1 3/4 inches wide. And I have a piece of Tyvek from an old envelope, and this is spelled Tyvek, Tyvek, and it's used to make envelopes for mailing, but its original purpose was to wrap houses in construction. So this stuff is virtually indestructible. You can cut it, but you cannot rip it or tear it, and it is waterproof. So it's a really good foundation piece to use. And I have a little golden book. So it's going to be a little noisy, but I'm going to use a tip that one of my viewers gave me. So bear with the noise. I'm going to heat up this tape. I used to just cut it away with the X-Acto knife, but we are going to use the heat tool. So hang on. Okay, this top portion did let loose. Now I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing with the back portion. And once it gets heated up, it goes so much quicker. Okay, and then I'm going to heat up this back part here to loosen up this edge. Okay, no more noise. Put that away. And here we have our little golden book. Here we've got the little original tape. And if you wanted to upcycle this, you could incorporate it into a tag or a pocket or something inside your little golden book, or use it in making a bookmark, or lots of ideas. Okay, now we're going to need our staple remover, and on the back side here I'm going to try to just get in underneath those staples. They use some pretty heavy duty ones, so just bear with me. It takes me just a second. Just want to loosen them up. Without hurting myself or the book. Now I'm going to grab a little plier. Oh, excuse me. Grab a little plier just to put the little legs upward to make it even easier. And then go in from the top and just remove those staples. Got them. Put those right in the garbage can right away so nobody gets hurt. And here we have our front cover, our back cover, and our book. And it comes in 2 signatures. And what I do is, this will be in my first, this will be in my last, and my middle one doesn't have any words from the book, but it will have another signature that's mainly for your memory keeping, your journaling, drawing, photos, whatnot. So now we're going to grab the little piece of Tyvek, and this is also the same height as the book, and this one measures 3 inches. This was how big my last scrap was. If you can get it to be 3 1/4 inches, that's even better. But we're going to go ahead and fold it in half lengthwise. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then this is going to be, our chipboard is our spine. So we're going to go ahead and grab some glue. Tacky glue works great for this part too. I'm just going to use fabric tack or Fabrifix right now because it's handy. I forgot to grab the tacky glue before I started. And I just went around the edges and then some in the center, and roughly lining up the center, that fold. That just helps assure me that I get it somewhat centered, so I've got margin on both sides. Now I'm going to grab one of my spacer tools that I got from Colorway Arts from Claudia, and I'm going to place that along the chipboard, and just, you can use a pencil. I'm using a pen so you can see it better, so that I have a margin, and that is going to be so that we can make sure that our books hinge, close, and open without binding. And it's 1/8 of an inch. Or what I used to do is cut chipboard and glue it together so that I would have spacers. But when Claudia sent me this, it is a real time saver, and they come in so many sizes. This one's the 1/4 inch, and they're all well loved. Here. You get this spatula and these spacers, and they are wonderful. I love each and every one of them. It has millimeters on one side and inches on the other, and the thickness is 1/8. I just love this tool set. And the other tool set that I got from Claudia that you've seen me use is this corner. And that's when I cover my own books. I use this on the corner to cut my excess fabric, wallpaper, paper, whatever, off so that I get nice, neat corners every time. So she has an Etsy shop, and it's Colorway Arts. Okay, now that we've got this, we're going to take and put some glue on our margin. Not a lot. We don't want to put glue in that little valley between the line and the chipboard. But if it does squeeze out, no big deal. And then we're just going to place our cover, lining up the top and bottom, and on that pen mark that I drew, my ruler helps me make sure that I have it level. And then we're going to apply glue to this little margin. And here is when you make sure that the writing of the book is going the same direction. So this is upside down to me, so this is upside down to me. And then I'm just placing it on there, using my line to follow. Make sure everything is straight. With the Fabri-Tac, you have some wiggle room. And I always double check it to make sure it's square. Then you can use your bone folder and just squeegee down the glue. And this one was 3 inches, but I do prefer 3 1/4, if not even 3 3/8. But this is going to work because this book cover is in pretty good shape. And I'm going to put that one aside to dry. And now we're going to work on the original book. We're exactly in the same position. Okay, so here we have our book. And I chose this to be my spine cover fabric because it looked like it was fun, whimsical to go with the whole theme of the book, and the colors are good with it. So that's why I chose this one. And I ripped this rather than cut it so that it is square, and it's 4 inches wide. And so what we're going to do is just place this on here. And what it does is it lets me know where it's going to fall on the book so that when I bring it down, it's going to be square. So we're going to go ahead and glue up this side. And I like to use a Fabri-Tac for this because this is fabric. And concentrate on the Tyvek to put your glue. And I like it to be light but thorough. I don't want a lot of excess glue to ooze, but I want it to be thorough in there so it's generous, so I don't have any buckling. And then I want to make a bead down the edge of the book for the fabric to grab both sides. And I can see where to go because I have my fabric here. Put that aside. Let's bring the fabric down. Grab my pokey tool. See, I've got a little bit up underneath from the rip. I did not press it. I like to have it organic looking. I want it to look handcrafted, not homemade. And now I'm just spreading my glue so that I don't have ridges. Yep, it feels good. Now we're going to flip it over and we're going to bring this up. I'm going to trim this a little bit. I don't need a lot to come over. I just need some. Now let's glue. And pull it up. And I have an old skinny bone folder that I like to use because it fits right down in there. And I did put glue in that little hinge cavity. Now we'll flip that up and we're going to do some more gluing. So I'm going to come down on the sides and the middle and the other side, and then I'm also going to put a bead in that cavity on both sides. And the Fabri-Tac is fast drying, but it also gives me that window to help me. Now I'm going to pull this taut to bring it all the way down, lining up my bottom where I brought it over. So when I cut or ripped my fabric in the beginning, I made sure that I had the height of my book twice plus a couple inches so that I would have this on the bottom. And now I'm going to go ahead and press that fabric down into that cavity. And again on this side. And now we're going to trim this off. Being careful not to cut that fold of the fabric. If I have to leave it a little bit long in places, so be it. Anything's better than giving that fabric on the fold a little cut, because we don't want to do that. Because I can take my little scissors in and do any trimming. And we can also trim it later. Always double check before everything is dry. And this is going to be our cover. That's a fun print. And it can be cut or ripped a little bit narrower if you'd like, but I like that support so that the hinge from the book where it naturally was has anchor. Now we're going to put this aside to dry. So cap our glue. And then I've got my folder of goodies. So we're going to kind of get our papers for our signatures going. And I want 3 signatures. And this is going to be in the beginning. This is my story. And I want 15 pages in each signature. So what I've got is a little scrapbook paper cut off, folded, another scrapbook paper cut off, that's folded. Here I have some ledger paper, and let's make sure that it gets folded so that we've got it fitting in our book. And just bring it in a little bit. Nothing high tech, we're just folding it up. And then I've got some dyed papers, and instead of Kool-Aid, so that I could get more of a red and green look, I used RIT dye, and they turned out definitely different. And here what I have is another scrapbook paper that I cut to the height of my page, 2 pieces actually, and I cut this one at 6, and then I just glued it here and here. So I have a pocket and a flap. And here I have a coffee filter. And if I left it open, it would be too tall, or, well, I guess this one's not, but some of my coffee filters are kind of big, and then they're too tall. So what I did was I folded it up so I have a pocket, and I folded it again so it has a little tuck spot. And here I've got a music page. Again, that's going to be too wide. So let's grab our story. And fold our book again, or our paper. I'm all thumbs. And this is a pretty old one. It doesn't have a date on this, but yeah, it's from the 30s and 40s. I love that natural patina on it. Now, that's pretty tight. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit more. Don't want anything to happen to our little folds. And if you wanted to, you could glue those down to have little pockets, or leave it as a flip. What else do we have? Music, our coffee filter, some coffee dyed paper. Here's a little children's alphabet practice paper. And here is a page from Norman Rockwell, and it's too tall. So we need to cut that down. So I'm going to trim along the little green reindeer. Susie's Letter from Santa, Mark Twain. This would make a good center of the signature, so let's do that. So now we're just going to put our pages together. We're going to put that in the center. And I just start putting, because we can always move it around. So we've got, I always leave, well, not always, but I try to leave my cover, my title page as my first page. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I want one more in here. And what do I have? Let's just put that in there. So bring that up, bring this down. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's what I like. Six, 7, 'Bring it up. 8, 9, 'Okay, this will be 9 and 10. So we have 1, 2, or well, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, and here we've got another one. Let's put that in here. That might get caught in our pocket. Let's put it this way. Okay, so that's 13, 14, and 15. And nothing's in there forever now, so we still have time to switch it around. And I like to just take a little clip so that I know I have that done. And it's in there. So let's go ahead and play with this one. See what I've got? Just a bunch of pages. Here's from an activity book, snowman paper chain, and some little snowflakes, and children's paper, the music, some more scrapbook paper, some more scrapbook paper. Here I have a dyed envelope, and it gets loose when I do my dyeing, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on that. And I think what I'm going to do is glue this flap down and cut off the edges so we've got little pockets. So go ahead and do that. I picked up a new pan at the Salvation Army, so it leaves a really interesting design. Isn't that cool? I just love it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut off these edges. So now we've got little pockets. And let me grab here I have a circle punch. It's a 1.5 inch. I just grabbed one. And let's just cut it. Because we can, right? Everybody likes thumb notches. And then I've got their little graph paper. A book page from my Christmas images. It's part of the story. I like this because the font is different, and also because it's a nice sturdy paper. You could do a lot of embellishing on this. It would hold it really well. And here I have a teacher's planner sheet. Let's check our height in that. Is it going to be too high? Nope, it's perfect. Okay, we're good with that. And then we've got our red, green, coffee colored. Looks like it's coffee with green. And another little lacy one. So we have to figure out what we want for our cover. And this is the back of this book, or the back of this signature. So let's use this red one for our cover. That's the first thing we want to figure out. And then we're just going to place some stuff in it. So we've got 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So we've got 15 here. And I like to take my ruler and just help me get it in the center there. And I want to check my pages. I've got a little bit coming out, so I want to give that tea-dyed, coffee-dyed one a little bit of a trim. I'm just going to take it down not even 1/8 of an inch. So it fits in there. And we're going to go ahead and clip it. And our last signature. So here we have our story. And sometimes if you're not careful, you can get them out of order. So make sure you read the story to begin with before you start, or make little pencil page numbers. So I like to keep them just so that I know what order. And here I've got my fun papers. Here I've got some more ledger, and it's going to be too wide. So let's give it a fold. That will work great. And some music. Here's Norman Rockwell again. Fun little Santa. Got some mittens. Tracing paper. And here we got little gingerbread boys and hot cocoa. Scrapbook paper. Then I made another little pocket. And then our coffee dyed pages. So, find my story again before I mess it up. We've got red here, so I'm going to use the green one for my cover. And then the first story page, so I've got 1, 2, we got 3, 4. What else have I got? Oh, I got 4. So I want my story. Number 5. Here we have some music. 6. Mittens. 7. 8. 9. Story 10. Now I've got all this, so this is going to be, okay, let's do Santa's my center. We're going to put our little hot chocolate, the poor little gingerbread boy, he's got a bite right out of his head. Poor little guy. And let's put some tea dyed or coffee dyed. Let's put this in here and my center. And let's pop this one in before this story piece over here. And here, I'm going to check my center again. Yep, I got to do a little bit of trimming there. I don't like all of that extra, so let's go ahead and grab that coffee dyed paper. Whoop, lost that one. Let's try again. And there's our clip. So here we have our 3 signatures ready to go in our book. And I do this to make sure that I didn't overstuff it with just plain pages. it's going to work because there's room for embellishing, and that's what we want, to make sure that we've got room. So my pages fit plus my clips fit, so we're good. I'm going to call today a video, and tomorrow we're going to pick up where we left off and continue on. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.